My name is Carolina Cantu, and I will be discussing mixed-age classrooms. In the traditional single-grade classroom, all of the students are with peers of the same grade level. So you have students who are all in second grade, students who are all in third grade, but they're not in the same group, they're separate. Whereas in mixed-age classrooms, you have a mixture or a variety of different grade levels. So you could have your kindergartners mixed with your first graders, mixed with your second graders, all in the same classroom. Scholars accept the definition of mixed-age classrooms as any combination of students in which there is a difference of at least 1 year of age.
There's a very unique class in McDowell County that allows students to spend 3 years with the same teachers and many of the same peers.
In this multi-age classroom, each student is responsible for the other. And as you'll see in my Never Stop Learning, it's a nurturing environment where every child can be a teacher and a student.
Who are your Valentine's going to be?
Jack and Davis in Friendship Love, because we take care of each other, we help each other.
There is definitely a sense of family in this kindergarten, first, and second grade combination class at Pleasant Gardens Elementary School. Every grade level hears the same lesson. Then the students split into small groups. Students say they're learning their schoolwork, but also life lessons, like how to be responsible.
It's nice to have youngers and olders because you can help the kindergartners and you can be helped if you need help.
How does that make you feel, Tom?
It feels like that we're big sisters, big brothers. Well, like if a kid was struggling on their work, like in math, a second grader would come over there and help them. So like after you do the tens, you do the ones and then you put the total.
This is the first year Miss Queen has kept data about her students' growth. She says they've really done well. Queen will present her findings at a statewide education conference in April.
I think you may have some future teachers in that group.
I think so too. And all the kids benefit. I mean, it's, you know, the second graders are challenged. She gives them extra stuff, and they have Chromebooks, and it's a cool class.
And they're teaching the younger ones.
And they're teaching the younger ones. And sometimes when you teach it, you learn it better.
That's right.
As we saw in the video, mixed-age classroom is put together a variety of different grade levels. In the McDowell County example, there's first graders, kindergartners, and second graders all in the same classroom. So what this does is it creates a sense of community and a sense of family amongst the students. As one of the children mentioned, it makes them feel like they have big brothers and big sisters that they can count on in the case that they needed any help. In these mixed-age classrooms, they're placed either in small groups or larger groups depending on their level of knowledge acquisition, and they're all expected to explore and to continue learning. The classrooms are generally blended in ages, and the instruction is not based on the student's age, but instead it's based on their ability level. This whole blending of students allows the student to not be limited or confined to their grade level, but instead it allows them to be pushed to a higher standard or to review in the case that the student needs a little bit more practice in a certain field. So it's just a really good way to cooperate among all the students. A reason why mixed-age classrooms might be implemented might be because Common Core standards in states have increased to much higher learning targets. As teachers struggle with making expected progress with their students, we're facing high expectations with low resources and low investment in individual success of the student. The basis of public education has been to cover the mandated curriculum and standards, and many students are simply left behind due to lagging skills. Sometimes thinking outside the box is simply the only solution that we can find, so implementing these sorts of mixed-age classrooms might be a possible way to fix this problem.
Carolina introduced what mixed classrooms are and how they can be implemented. There has been some controversy over mixed-age classrooms and if they are considered to be effective. My name is Summer Sibley, and I will examine a few positive points of mixed-age classrooms, and afterwards, Nicole will hit some negative points. The first major point is that mixed-age classrooms allow for peer teaching. The students are able to learn from each other, engage in their learning, making their own decisions, which enables them to become less dependent on their teacher. The differences in age are considered to make it easier for children to acknowledge for or provide help. Mixed-age classrooms also help with social development. There are indicators that same-age classrooms may be related to higher levels of physical and verbal aggression, and mixed-age classrooms do not have the same level. Mixed-age classrooms foster children's cognitive and social development, but also promote the recognition and appreciation of children's diversity. This further promotes attitudes of acceptance. These children aren't competing against each other for a spot, but rather helping each other reach the next level of learning. Children need opportunities not only to observe and imitate a wide range of competencies, but also find companions among their peers who match, complement, or supplement their interest in different ways. Leading me into my next point, mixed-age classrooms allow students to push one step ahead. Vygotsky promoted the idea of the zone of proximal development, in which children are pushed slightly beyond the limits of their knowledge by a more competent and experienced person. A more competent partner, such as an older peer or adult, is able to scaffold learning by allowing the less competent learner to practice more advanced reasoning at a level not yet attainable independently. Students learn from other grades in their classroom. Since all of the students are in the same classroom, they may overhear a more advanced lesson and then be exposed to what they will soon be learning, striking them a curiosity to want to learn. They may also overhear a lesson that they have already learned, but that may serve as a good review for them, without causing them the embarrassment of asking for it to be retaught. In mixed-age classrooms, the teachers must be held accountable. The classroom environment forces teachers to meet independent needs of each child. Shatmeyer says, teaching a single grade class can give teachers a false sense of security. They can use the same textbooks, the same reader, he says. Many teachers go on with what the manual says. They just follow the script. But when the schools do away with grade level designation, he adds, it forces the teachers to look at the individual needs of each child. Teachers had a deeper understanding of their students and their learning styles, which lengthened student-teacher relationships as well. Mixed-age classrooms also allow younger students to have a positive role model in the classroom, since there are older children in there as well as the teacher. Stone, who teaches class in multi-age and early childhood education, says a multi-age setting provides a richer learning environment. Children bring multiple perspectives and hear multiple perspectives. Anderson likes the good spread of mental and social experiences that different age class brings to the classroom setting. That's the way the rest of the life is, he adds. Mixed-age classrooms are just an extension of the real world, and getting children prepared to live in the world for their future. Students will have to work with various ages and types of people in college, work environments, and their daily life. The students have a sense of community and accountability with each other, which further allows them to develop their social skills, which cannot be replicated whenever a student are only in single age groups. A successful approach of this mixed-age classroom came from Maria Montessori. She believed in a natural mental osmosis between children. She said that exchange would only happen if the children were not separated into age homogeneous year groups. Age homogeneity resulted in intellectual boredom. Differences of age of 2 or 3 years are constructed to simulate children's intellectual development, whereas the age differences between children and their teachers are considered to be too big. Children are closer to each other in the structures of thinking and speaking than adults, and at the same time have a latent desire to teach. She now has schools all over using this approach.
While there are many pros to mixed-age classrooms, there are also many cons to the innovative classroom structure. One con to this program is the rejection and hesitation by parents. According to Song, parents of older kids and younger kids feel that this structure isn't beneficial to their child. Parents of older kids feel that their child won't learn as much as they would in a standard classroom, and that their child will feel inadequate because they're learning the same material as kids much younger than themselves. Likewise, parents of younger kids fear that the schoolwork and environment will be too much for their child to handle and they'll lose confidence in their learning abilities. Parental involvement is imperative for academic success, so the fact that many parents are opposed to mixed-age classrooms is a bit of a red flag. There's also immense pressure on the schools with this kind of program. This program also requires an excess amount of work in addition to the already busy life of a teacher. Teachers are now responsible for making a lesson applicable to all the ages in a classroom. 8 out of 10 teachers oppose differentiated instruction, which is an alarming majority. Differentiated instruction is changing the lesson to fit a variety of needs and abilities. Teachers already do this in order to accommodate special needs or impairments in a classroom. So asking teachers to make differentiated instruction for different abilities and impairments, as well as a variety of ages, requires a lot more work than one would think. Another con of this program is that most likely when schools implement this sort of program, they reach out to the older and more experienced teachers who are familiar with differentiated instruction and have experience bridging the learning gap. This can cause an experience gap to form. The newer teachers are placed in a standard classroom while all the experienced teachers are placed in mixed-age classrooms. When the mixed-age teachers retire, there is no one trained in how to take over these classrooms. All the new teachers are also overwhelmed by their first classroom, and since the experienced teachers are also overwhelmed with this new territory, there's less help available to everyone. If you have standard classroom and mixed-age classrooms in the same school, a rivalry can also arise. The mixed-age classroom kids generally feel superior to the standard kids, which causes a division between the kids and the school. Even within the mixed-age classroom, there's animosity. According to Katz, at the start, you have a divide between the older and the younger kids. The older kids will get annoyed when the younger kids don't catch on as easily. This can cause bullying since there's already the stigma about the kids being younger. Age creates a sort of natural divide in a classroom, so adding kids of different ages and different intelligences to the same classroom can cause the older kids to get angry or aggressive. Another con is that if this classroom is not implemented properly, it can become a dumping ground for kids who need more time. Kids who don't catch on as quickly can just be moved here instead of holding them back. When you do this, they lose faith in their abilities, and the point of the classroom in a whole is compromised. The point of these classrooms is to learn based on ability, but the way you go about it is critical so that you don't make the older kids feel stupid and lose confidence in themselves. Funding is probably the biggest con to these programs. The states of Kentucky and Michigan both implemented mixed-age classrooms. They were successful and they were thriving, but were suddenly pulled due to lack of funding. This can cause a stress because money was already spent creating these classrooms, teachers were paid, and resources were purchased specifically for these classrooms, and then they were just wasted. This also hurts the children in the classes. They became accustomed to a certain way of learning. They might have really loved this concept and it helped them further their education. So to go and introduce this idea and then take it away will affect their views on education. Standardized testing is also a huge problem that can occur when dealing with these classes. Many states require a form of standardized testing in order to gauge a child's progress and intellect levels. Mixed-age classrooms defy this logic. The very basis of a mixed-age classroom is to learn based on ability, not necessarily with age. This is a cool idea, but when you have all the kids required to take a certain test and they're in different classes learning different things, it's hard to test them all evenly.
While standardized testing is a topic in itself, the reality of the situation is that these kids have to take standardized tests and they have to be able to pass them and know the material on the tests. Mixed age classrooms are innovative and possibly the next big thing to be introduced to the education system. There are major cons to this structure, but if and when those get tackled, this classroom structure could change the education system.
In conclusion, the negative aspects of mixed-age classrooms are that there's an easier way to bully a child, there's rejection by parents, there's the ill-preparedness of teachers and the experience gap, there are blurred lines between the standardized testings and the levels of each student, and it's hard to comply to No Child Left Behind. There are funding difficulties. It creates a sense of superiority amongst the teachers that are highly qualified to teach differentiated instruction, or there could be the feeling of inferiority based on the notion that it might be a dumping ground for students who are lacking skills. The benefits of mixed-age classrooms is that it allows peer teaching. It helps to develop students' social, emotional, and verbal skills and self-esteem. It pushes students one step ahead. It allows students to work at their own pace. It builds a child-centered learning environment, and it forces teachers to meet the needs of the students. It allows for positive role modeling. It teaches the students to get along with their peers, and it's an extension of the real world as they're faced with students who are older than they are or younger than they are. It teaches the students to empathize. It allows for them to improve their attitudes towards school, as since they're placed in a classroom where they are at the level of skill that they possess, they don't feel embarrassment or lack of motivation. They increase their attendance, they perform better, and their behavior is also more positive. And finally, teachers are usually required to teach the same class for approximately 2 to 3 years. So with this continuous relationship with the students, they become more familiar with the students' learning styles, and they are better able to teach the child in a way that helps them best. Mixed-age classrooms relates back to our textbook, especially in the idea of social construction. Social construction deals with periods of child development that are divided from birth to adulthood, but that are generally agreed upon not so much by age, but on functional challenges. This could be seen in the placement of students in classrooms not by their age, but by their ability. This is based on their growth of what a child can do, not what they are expected to do. Also, it emphasizes the aspect of a child's cognitive development, which deals with changes in problem solving, memory, language, reasoning, and aspects of thinking. It also deals with emotional and social development, which finally allows for them to change their individual feelings, their personality, self-concept, and relations with other people into a more positive aspect. Our presentation on mixed-age classrooms. While there are a lot of positive aspects that support the idea of mixing age groups, there are also a lot of cons, so it's important to keep both of these in mind when discussing the idea. Thank you for tuning in, and so I hope you gained something from this presentation. Thanks, and Gig'em, have a great day.